Good morning everybody, it's Jude Lennon here from Little Lamb Tales and I am a storyteller and children's author. It's Friday, it's bank holiday. It seems unusual to have a bank holiday on a Friday in May, but then all the days seem a bit unusual at the moment. They're all sort of turning into each other. So all of this week we have been doing stories about animals. So the story bag has still got quite a few stories in there, so we'll see what comes out this morning. As you can see, we've got our special guest Flossie this morning, who's sporting her beautiful shoes, which were knitted for her by Pitter Patter Tiny Feet Knitting Emporium. They're gorgeous. Everybody always likes Flossie's shoes, and she's come to join us this morning. So Lammy, should we start with our song? Here we go everybody. If you know the words, join in. Hello everyone, how are you? Hello everyone, how are you? Hello everyone, how are you? How are you today? If you're feeling okay, give me a wave. If you're feeling pretty good, give yourselves a pat on the back. If you're ready for stories, let's get going. Right then, here we go, animal stories. Some that you might have heard me tell already, some that might be completely new. Ooh, let's see what we've got in here. Okay. Oh, now I have told this story before, but it's a good one. And it requires you to join in and make lots of noise, which can be a really good way to get rid of your excess energy, okay? So, this story was told to me by Taffy Thomas, who is a very famous storyteller up in the Lake District. He's got a garden in Grasmere called the Storyteller's Garden, and he told me this story, and now I'm going to tell it to you. It's called The Cat Fishers. It goes like this. If you know how I start my stories, you can join in. Are we ready? Long, 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 all together now, long ago, far away from here, there were two cats. There was a little grey cat and a bigger black cat. The bigger black cat was the older of the two and sometimes was a little bit bossy. They lived in a barn not far from a river. And one day the big black cat said to the little grey cat, "Come on, I'm going to teach you how to catch fish." "Come on," I said. He was a little bit bossy. So the cats made their way to the river. Let's go. Down to the river they went, and the river, let's see the river, whooshed by. "Now," said the big black cat, "you must listen carefully and do exactly as I say." I said. He was a little bit bossy. The big black cat walked to the edge of the river. Are you ready? Looked up the river. Can you check up the river? Stuck out his paw and whoosh. And he says, and that is how you catch a fish. You look up the river, you stick out your paw, and when you see the fish coming, you flick the fish onto the riverbank. Have you got that? Yes, said the little grey cat. You look up the river, you stick out your paw, you catch the fish. I've got it. Excellent. Now, said the big black cat, I'm going to stay here. You can go further down the river and we'll see who has got the most fish at the end of the day. Okay, said the little grey cat. I think it will be me. He said, I'm a lot younger and quicker than the black cat. So the little grey cat set off down the river. Let's go. Found a space by the edge of the river. Now, all day long, the big black cat waited by the edge of the river. He checked up the stream. Can you check? Got his paw. Oh, the fish swam by. He tried again. He looked up the river. He stuck out his paw. Oh, the fish swam by. Goodness me. Meanwhile, further down the river, the little grey cat was waiting. Can you wait? He looked up the river. He stuck out his paw and he caught the biggest, juiciest looking fish you could ever imagine. Said the little grey cat, I'm quite good at this. But he didn't catch any more, just that one. The end of the day came and the little grey cat picked up the fish in his mouth and carried it and dropped it next to the black cat. See what I caught. What did you catch? Well, actually, I didn't catch anything, said the big black cat. I was letting you have a go to get your practice. I don't think that's true. And so they decided they were going to go home. Well, what are you having for your supper? Asked the little grey cat. Well, I thought we'd share the fish, said the big black cat. Oh no, this is my fish. I caught it. You didn't help me catch it. Yes, but I showed you how to catch it, said the big black cat. Come on, I think we should share. That's only fair. I'd share with you. I don't think you would. I'm keeping this fish for myself. Uh-oh. The cats started to fight. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen what happens when cats fight, but they hiss and they show their claws. Should we do that? Sss, sss, sss. They swiped at each other. Sss, sss, sss. Neither would give in. I want to share the fish. Well, I won't, said the grey cat. And so it went on. Just then, along came Mr. Fox. What's all this noise? Goodness me, it's a beautiful evening. Look, the moon is out, the stars are shining. Why are you fighting? Well, said the big black cat, I showed this little grey cat how to go fishing, and now he won't share what he caught. Yes, but I caught it, said the grey cat. I did all the work. Okay, the fox. We can sort this out. Don't worry. I know. We'll have a singing competition. OK, so we're going to ask you both to sing at the moon, and whoever sings the best, they will get the fish. OK? Yes, said the cats, that sounds fair. So they sat themselves down, they looked up at the silvery moon, and they sang to the moon. This is where you get to join in. We're going to sing meow, meow, meow. Let's go. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, that's lovely, said the fox. I can't quite decide, though. Can you sing again? So the cats did. Let's go. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, I think you might have to sing it one more time to the fox. It's very difficult for me to work out who's the best. Let's go. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Well, while the cats were busy singing to the moon, Mr. Fox picked up the fish and slunk away, took it back to his set where he fed his little cubs. As for the cats, they realised they'd been very silly when they looked around and saw that Mr. Fox and their fish had disappeared. And since then, they've decided that maybe the best thing after all is probably teamwork. And so from now on, they work together as a team and they never go hungry. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. Right, excellent. OK, so our first story was about two cats and a fox. I wonder what our next story is going to be about. Should we find out, Lammy? OK. So, this is an old story and it was written by Rudyard Kipling, and I've had this book for a long, long time. And Rudyard Kipling wrote The Jungle Book, but he also wrote lots of other stories as well. And this is the story he wrote. It's called How the Rhino Got His Skin. And it goes like this. Long, 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 long ago, far away from here by the Red Sea, there was a Parsi, and he lived on a beautiful part of the beach with a coconut tree, and all he had was a stove that only he was allowed to use, and a hat from which came lots of rays of sun, and he had a few other things as well. And he sat there, and he sat and he enjoyed the sun, and he enjoyed the sun. And one day, the Parsi took some flour and some plums and some currants and some sugar, and he made the mixture into a great big cake, and he put it onto his stove that only he was allowed to use. The cake smelled delicious as all the sugar and the fruits and the mixture started to cook. And the cake was enormous. It would last a long time. It was about this big and this deep. And when it was eventually ready, the Parsi took it off and thought, I shall enjoy eating that cake. Well, down the beach came a rhino. Now, rhinos have always been a little bit grumpy, and I wonder why that is. You're about to find out. They've never had any manners, though, and over he came with his horn on his head and his little piggy eyes, and he said, "Oh, that looks good, that cake," and he just gobbled it all up. And the Parsi turned to him and said, "Those who steal the Parsi's cakes make terrible mistakes." "Ha!" said the rhino, and off he went. Now, Back then, this was a strange time when rhinos sort of wore their skin like a coat, and they put it on and they had 3 smart buttons under their tummy. And it came about that the sun got hotter and hotter, a heat wave, and everybody was struggling to keep cool. And so the party took off his hat and lay under his tree. And the rhino came down to the ocean. And he unbuttoned his skin, and he took it off, and he went into the sea, and he wallowed in that sea, and he felt the water that was cooling, and he blew bubbles. Well, while he was doing that, the party thought, I will teach that rhino a lesson. And so he gathered up all the crumbs that were left from all his cakes, and he tiptoed down to the rhino's skin, which was lying on the beach. And he smeared all the crumbs right inside the skin, and he dropped in the old burnt currants, and he got all the bits right into the rhino's skin. And then he went back and he climbed up the tree and sat out of the way, but he looked over the top to see what was happening. The rhino kept bobbling around the water, blowing bubbles, until he felt he'd cooled down enough. And out he came, and he put on his suit, and he fastened up the buttons, and as he walked away, he thought, something doesn't feel quite right, and he started to itch and move and scratch, and nothing worked. Ow! Oh, this is making me really grumpy, he said, and he got grumpier and grumpier, and as he moved more and more, the skin started to bunch, and the buttons popped off as the skin stuck together, and he had great bunches of skin under his legs and under his tummy and up round his shoulders, and he scratched and he itched, and he was really, really, really cross. The party had taught him his lesson, and that is why today, if you see rhinos, they always look a bit grumpy, and they've got great big folds of skin that are full of the party's crumbs, and they're still trying to get rid of them. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. So I love the Rudyard Kipling stories. If you get a chance, have a look at them, because there's some beautiful, beautiful stories. There's all kinds, as I said, the Jungle Book stories came from these, how the elephant got his trunk, how the leopards got their spots, the beginnings of armadillos, all kinds of lovely stories. So if you get a chance, have a read through some of those. Right then, so we've had stories about cats and a fox, and a story about a rhino. I wonder what's going to come out of here next. Now, you're probably thinking, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't look like an animal, it looks like a snowman. And you're quite right, but you'll find out why, because it's really about the hats that we're thinking about in this story. Here we go. This story is from Japan, and I told a story from Japan last week when we did our Round the World bit. And I said then that a lot of stories in Japanese culture involve mice. I think mice must be very important to their culture, because this is about mice as well. It's called The Rice Mice. Here we go. You know how it begins. Long, 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 all together now. Long ago, when the whole of the area of Japan was full of lots of people being very, very busy. It was winter time and everybody was getting ready to stock up on their food to last them through the coldest bit. And also everybody was getting ready for that special time of New Year. And there was a man and a lady, and they lived in a very poor part of town, and they sold hats which they made from baskets that they wove from leaves from the trees. And the old man had not been able to make many baskets. He'd not been very well, and his wife had tried to help him as best she could. And she said, "Dear, we're going to have to try and make more hats, Sal, because I'm afraid we've only got this much rice left. Maybe enough for 2 meals if we're lucky." "Very well, dear," he said. "I will gather some leaves tomorrow and I will make some hats to sell at the market." And so the lady cooked up some rice. And as she did, they heard over in the corner, squeak, 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 squeak. And when they looked, they could see a little family of mice making their way out of the skirting board into their kitchen. "Hello, what are you doing here?" said the man. "Oh, we're very sorry to disturb you, but we're very hungry. Could you spare some of your rice so that we can have some? The babies are very hungry. Please, just a little bit." "Oh, well, very well," said his wife, and she put down a little bit of the rice on the floor for the mice to enjoy. And they sat down and ate their last bowl of rice. "Right, to work tomorrow then," he said. "I will definitely have to have your help to make as many hats as I can to sell at the market." "Very well," said his wife. "We'll get up early in the morning and we'll do it together." The mice overheard this and thought, "Hang on, there's something we can do to help, surely." And so, while the man and his wife slept, the little mice crept outside. They nibbled the leaves and they dragged the leaves back into the kitchen. So when the man woke up in the morning, there was a big pile of leaves waiting for him, and he didn't have to spend much time getting the hats ready. He wove and wove and wove the hats, and he made 7. And he put them in a bag and he set off to the village. "Bye-bye," he said to his wife. "Bye-bye, little mice, thank you." And off he went. He walked and walked and walked and walked. And as he approached the town, he could see the statues that were along the bridge welcoming the people into the town. The statues were there to protect the town and to make sure it felt safe. And as he walked past, he saw that each one of them looked like a snowman. They'd been stood in the cold for so long and the snow had settled on them, he couldn't tell what they looked like. So he stopped at each one and he brushed them clear, and he made his way into the town. He set up his stall, he laid out his hats, he put one on his head to show people what it would look like, and he waited. And he waited, and he waited, and he waited all day. And people came, they picked up his hat and said, "This is a fine hat, but I don't need one just yet." And they popped it down. Or they'd say, "This is a very fine hat, I'll come back later." But they never did. The poor man waited all day and not one of his hats was sold. "No food for us tonight then," he said, and he gathered his hats sadly and he put them back into his bag and put it on his shoulder, and he made his way slowly back out of the town to the bridge. And as he got to the bridge, he saw that the statues had been covered over again with snow as it had been falling all day. "Well, I didn't sell my hat," he said. "You can have them though to keep you warm." And he brushed each statue and put a hat on their heads as he went past. He kept the one for himself. And so he said goodbye to the statues in their smart new hats, and he made his way home. Let's go. He walked and walked and walked and walked. And when he got home, his wife said, "Oh, did you sell them all?" "No," he said, "I tried my best, but the snow kept coming down. I think people just didn't want to buy the hats. In the end, I put them on the statues of the guardians of the town. Oh well, at least it will keep them out of the snow." "Never mind," said his wife. "Come on, in you come. We'll see what we can do." And so she sat down, she boiled some water and gave it to him to drink. And as they sat there and drank their water, there was a knocking on the door. Who would come out in weather like this? And the old man opened the door, and there on the doorstep were the 6 guardians from the town bridge in their smart hats, and they had a great big trolley full of food and goodies ready to give the man and his wife. "This is from us to you, to give you blessings for your house, for taking care of us. You looked after us, and now we will look after you. You won't be hungry this winter." And with that they turned and off they went. The man and the wife could not believe it. Wow! They had never seen so many wonderful things to eat in one place. Miso noodles and vegetables and all kinds of delicious things. And they brought the stock in. And that night they ate most royally. And just before they sat down, they called to the mice in the skirting board, "Come on, out you come. You helped us, and now we will help you. You will join us for our feast." And they laid down some food for the mice and the mice family to enjoy as well. And they had a long and prosperous and happy life. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. So I guess the moral of that story is, be kind to others and they'll be kind to you, which is always a very good thing to remember. Well, I hope you have enjoyed our story time this morning. I have certainly enjoyed sharing the stories with you. So all this week, hi Bren, all this week we've been telling stories about animals. Next week I haven't quite decided my theme, but if you've got an idea of a theme, maybe pop it in a comment underneath the video or let me know through Facebook, that's great. So next week, so Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, 10 o'clock on Little Lamb Tales I do storytelling, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Jude Lennon Author I read one of my books. So join me next week. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Let's do our goodbye song. You ready, Lammy? Let's go. Goodbye, everyone. Nice to see you. Goodbye, everyone. Nice to see you. Goodbye, everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to see you today. Give yourselves a clap. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Give yourselves a fan-dabby-dozy. Thanks, everybody. Take care. See you all next week. Bye-bye.